Good morning, everyone. It's Joker, and today we are back with another slime video. And today it is finally time to at least attempt to get a look at the free-to-play Protector Gabiru. It took the devs a long time to drop Predator battles, so I wasn't going to show them off with a level 7 skill. We are up to level 9 now, and we're only going to get another 2% on this skill point increase, so I figured that's not really worth it. It's already at level 9, so it's the highest it can be without being maxed out, and I'm going to have to wait like another week or something until it's actually done at the rate that we get these his skill enhancements, so I just figured let's get it over with. But he is giving the 30% damage buff to Stern of Spirit characters against light, and then he's giving Tempest Elite and Stern of Spirit attack only, 12% standard. His actual skill, so he's giving Stern of Spirit or Tempest Elite elemental attack by 20% for one turn. So unlike Protector Rimuru, where it's 10% forever, and it just stacks and stacks and stacks, this is a 20% one turn buff. It still covers all the different elements, so you can run anybody under Gabiru and they will get a 20% element buff for one turn, so that's very nice. And it makes him a very generic protector. On top of that, he is giving us a higher skill cap by 20 points, so 20, 40, 60, 80. You'll have access to, higher and higher. It's not also just not as good as Rimuru's, passive 50 every turn, but it does allow you to stack up more. And you're going to need that because he's still giving Green Orb's extra skill point by 30% up to 300 versus 100 up to 500. So he's just, a little bit worse Protector Rimuru in all ways, which is fair. He's the free-to-play protector. He's not supposed to be a super hardcore replacement, but he's supposed to be still pretty good for what you need him to do. So let's go ahead and test him out. Alright, we're going to go into the extreme stage of Beatdown Battle, where it'll be the last place you can get the free copy of the Ain's gear. So not quite Inferno, he doesn't have a million HP, but he still will be a formidable foe for newer players. We're going to go in assuming that you only have Ain's as the DPS, and Nabe is a free-to-play in Gabiru. The charm we're running on Gabiru is the protection gauge on greens, because both Rimuru and Gabiru are going to benefit a lot from being able to get more protection gauge, because that means more stacks, and which means more points held, more point gain, and just more damage overall. And then we're going to run just a bunch of supports, old supports. So Nabe's free, right? Space Rimuru is an OG unit. Lumi came out like 2 months after release, and then Water Shuna as our alt buffer. So we have attack. Rimuru is technically skill fused, so we are going to get a little bit extra from him because he's going to give that 30% alt resistance down. I mean, even if you don't have the skill fusion, the 40% attack buff will still matter to Ain's greatly. Lumi will be another orb changer and a healer for us, and then Water Shuna is giving us that 70% alt buff, and then Ain's is doing his own, magic buff and his crit buff. So, this should work, in theory, right? Alright, so turn 1, we will use the Nabe orb change. Now, the thing about Gabiru that we have to really consider more than anything else is that he does not reset our skill cost. So that's going to be a major factor in using a bunch of skills very early on, because after a while, your orb chains are going to cost a lot of points, and we are not stacking nearly as fast with Gabiru as we're stacking with Rimuru. So if you get, kind of some unlucky hands, it's not going to be all that awesome. This does not actually work for us because Nabe would be able to change that orange if Lumi was on Stern of Spirit. So that is a detriment that really forces Nabe into the spotlight of being not a great unit if you don't have a bunch of other Stern of Spirit characters around here. It can lead to some unfortunate things, but we can send at least 5 orbs here, so we can use this, and we can actually get some extra protection gauge from the Despair. So yeah, the Lumi orb is not going to get changed. We can use Gabiru, so he's going to give everybody a 20% element buff. He's going to raise our cost and give us a little bit extra skill point gain on this turn. So Lumi, again, because she's not Stern of Spirit or Tempest Elite, does not get that element buff, but Ain's and Nabe do, which is the most important thing. 72 points off this, almost another protector. It's not bad. Let's bring Rimuru in for Lumi. That way we get his trait on turn 3, and that will actually give us another Gabiru. With Gabiru, you just need to spam him as much as possible, because you need to get your skill point raised and everything else like that. This isn't like Rimuru, where you need to strategically use your skill resets on certain places with certain people up front. Like, that's not what we're doing here. That's not the point of this team. So, let's go ahead and just send these oranges. Let's go ahead and use this buff. Again, Rimuru, also not going to be on that, even though I feel like he is Tempest Elite, but sure. Whatever. Alright, guarded that. That's a pretty good hand. Can we actually run it, though? No, the answer is no, because we don't reset skills. But we can do this. So, we have no Rimuru orbs here, so we're not in danger. So we could do the Stern of Spirit Change, boom, and then we can bring Lumi in, and she can convert that last screen, and that'll give us a lot of points. We've already used 2 stacks of Gabiru, so we're up to 140 cap now. This will get us the Ainz ult plus some, and a Nabe ult, so this will look pretty good. And we don't need... Well, we do need a good amount of points to full nuke here. So we're going to need to go a few more turns to stack up before we can reliably send anything. We're also missing another key point to the team, which is Shizu being able to swap out the ults for better orbs. So that is also deeply, deeply unfortunate. So 129 points, and we need what? 110. We need 190 to full nuke here. Not something that we're going to get very easily, but what we can do is a little bit of hokey pokey with this hand. So if Ainz leaves, oh, we're 1 point shy. Oh, that's unfortunate. Okay, well, I think we just kind of burn this turn out. I mean, we have a whole bunch of Ainz orbs. Let's go ahead and send the Nabe ult as well, just to get as much as possible. And, you know, we are doing decent damage with those orbs, with that 20% element buff. Nabe does 19-4 on her ult. AoE doesn't really matter that much. This will be a good hand, especially if that green is coming in, except we got sealed. But we do have the EX ult now. So we just have to leave Ainz here, and we just need to gather points. And we're not really in danger of dying, and even if we were, we do have Lumi who is able to heal us. So that's definitely a positive. Let's go ahead and just do that now anyways. We're going to make back a lot of these points. Yeah, now we're all topped up. So we're looking good. It's just that I forgot about that seal on Ainz, which is very unfortunate. But we just have to wait another turn and then it'll wear off. And we have enough points to nuke now. Well, I thought we did. I was under the wrong impression. It's because our skill costs a lot now. A lot. Okay, well, I guess we'll nuke with what we have next turn. Unless we want to push an extra turn to get just some more points. How much do these greens give us anyways? 13 points, 27 points. 33. We need 190. Yeah, so that is a very big flaw with this team, is that we don't get a lot of points very quickly. We're only raising our green gauge increase, especially if we don't get any greens. Dear Lord. Then it becomes a major issue. Alright, well, we're going to have to do this anyways. So we're going to buff that, and then we'll do the attack buff as well. And that's what we're going to have to do. And I'm fairly certain we're still going to kill, because Rimuru does have that ult resistance down. This is an EX ult. So Ainz, man, we can watch it. He won't do a lot, but I think he'll do enough that we can kill. Double Demon Lord Strike. What do you got? Like 100k, 150k? Ooh, 361 is actually pretty good. Okay, that was quite a bit more than I thought. It is the EX ult. We do have the extra 30% damage buff, not the 60, which is why I was kind of underselling it a little bit. Okay, well, that's pretty good damage. If your Rimuru isn't skill fused, you'll do like what, like 280 or something like that. So still a respectable amount. All right, but we definitely saw the flaws with Gabiru versus, running Rimuru. No skill reset. Everything was expensive. We didn't get nearly as many skill points on the greens as what we're used to seeing. But if you're just needing to clear some early game stages, he can work. So let's go into some of the other stages that are, more geared towards early game, and let's try them out. Alright, next we're going to go into Crucible Stage 100 against Dark Rimuru. 241,000 HP. He is Dark, which means that we're not going to get the extra damage buff against, light characters, but I still think that this team can probably do it. We took out Space Rimuru, we brought in free-to-play Earth Aaron for the orange orb convert, so at least, on top of everything, we have a guaranteed dedicated blue and a dedicated orange orb changer. And then, Lumi's special convert, Nabe's special convert, I guess is what we'll call it. And we're just going to run with Ainz and the alt buff from Shuna, alongside the 20% buff from Gabiru. Alright, we got a, pretty good starting hand, after everything is said and done. 5 blues. So I'm going to send all of the blues. We're going to leave that green. We're going to get this green. Hopefully get a few more greens next turn. And then we can start getting them buffed up with Gabiru, nice, quick, and in a hurry. And yeah, okay. That works for me. We can use Lumi to convert those. Or we could bring in Nabe for Aaron and convert them with her orb change, which I think is what I'd rather do, because that one's is much more specific. And if we can make it work, then we're going to make it work much easier. We'll get some protection gauge off this as well. So boom. Boom, and then we can use a stack of Gabiru, give us extra cap, 28% extra skill points, which isn't a lot, but it is going to help Nabe and Ainz do more damage here, and they have most of the orbs, so... Alright, we have an ult for Ainz already as well, and he's doing 6,000. Nabe does have type advantage, so it is helping her do even more. Natural Pierce there looks pretty cool. That hand isn't great, but... we can not work with it, really. Alright, we're going to do this. And we're going to just send these oranges, get them out of here. We'll hold on to this stack of Gabiru until next turn. And honestly, I think we can safely kill here. I mean, this is even better. So let's get you out of here for Shuna. And then we can use Nabe's orb change. Boom, perfect. And then we have another stack to give Nabe extra damage more than anything. Oh, it is also giving it to Shuna because she is also on Tempest Elite, so that's nice. Not that it really matters, though. And now we've got 140 points, and we can nuke, yeah, next turn, because we only have the 2 buffs, the 80 and the 55. So this will be enough, and he doesn't have that much health left. Okay, yeah, this works. Alright, the AoE, peanuts, I guess. And what is this defense? Is that Pierce attack? Pierce power? Pierce power. Alright, doesn't matter. Okay, so boom. We'll get the alt buff. Water resistance down doesn't matter in this scenario because Ainz is not water. We'll bring him in and we'll give technically everybody crit because we don't have any Aaron orbs. We'll give him also the extra 20% element buff. And he's got his own magic buff, and we're going to just completely wipe the floor with him. And he does 141. Alright. I mean, Gabiru is not going to take you through Inferno beatdown battle, but he can certainly get the job done if you can at least build a moderately sustainable team around him. You just put a bunch of orb changers, you put Ainz as your primary DPS, and you can pretty much clear any of the really, really old stages in the game. Maybe difficulty with Conquest Milim. Actually a lot of difficulty with Conquest Milim. But if you swap Shuna out for Octagram Guy and call it a day, then you can negate a lot of what she's doing because you can just stun. And that's why Albedo is bad. She also has a stun, great, but she costs 55 points to stun. And you have to summon for her, right? Guy, you just have to play the game a little bit, get 100 Octagram emblems, which in this day and age doesn't take too long, considering where we came from. with orbs, and then you get a free I win button in Conquest, essentially, is what that amounts to. Aaron has type advantage, Lumi does not. This could hurt a lot on Lumi if she hits her, but okay, she hit Aaron. That works for me, I guess. Orb change. And then we'll get Lumi out for Ainz. And then next turn, if nobody dies here, then we can safely bring in Guy and stun, and then we can hopefully get a few more orbs here. Yeah, I mean, we're doing good damage. It's just, does Milim decide to just 4-tap somebody here? Okay, blues we can work with. 1, 2, 3, 4. Alright, 94 points. Not that big of a deal. Ainz has no orbs at all. So we're just going to take away this turn, and we're going to stun. Boom, for 25 points. We're going to send these greens, and actually we're going to use this stack of Gabiru. Help these, well, one of these greens do a bit more. And then we'll hopefully have a whole hand of blues next turn. And the best part is that just stun her again. Just stun her again. Stun lock. Alright. We'll bring Ainz back in for Nabe, and that might actually get his ult. It does get his ult. And then she's dead. She's dead after this ult. I mean, do we have enough points to even use his nuke? No, we don't. But we're still going to get a few things here. Let's go ahead and use the Despair. So that's 5% ult resistance down. We'll do the 20% element up. And between that and an ult, I mean, Milim only has like 30k HP, 20k? Yeah, 30k HP left, and Ainz is definitely going to do more than that. 31. Never mind. We killed by just a sliver over, but the important part is that we win, and nobody died. Nobody died. And we can honestly say that the damage buff from Gabiru did help that nuke, because if we didn't use that 20% element, we wouldn't have done 30k, which means we would have taken that Milim ult at full force, unless we stunned again. So, I think that's a decent, relatively, good beginner showing of, how Gabiru will help newer players kind of play the game. He won't work that well in stages that are not tailored for green orbs, so if the greens are nerfed, like, he's definitely not going to be a super great option for you. But he is a free-to-play option that you can use to your advantage if you even have just like one unit of Stern of Spirit, Ainz. If you have Shizu, great. That actually probably means a lot more down the line in the long run than having just Ainz. But Gabiru, I think, is a serviceable free-to-play protector, and I think they've been doing a really good job with the latest batch of free-to-play protectors. Benimaru is fairly good for being highly limited. Gabiru, I think, is very good. Even Shuna is very good. Visions of Coleus Rimuru is really good. Idol Chloe, like, she can still make the team invincible, and that's a huge selling point, right? And she's free. If you have pretty sparkle units, like, you don't need the idols, quote unquote. You could have Dark Milim and Bride Shuna, and they will be invincible, which is huge. So I think they're doing a really good job with the free-to-play protectors and making them not just suck. Because the first batch of them, this Dino, this Chloe, this Zoe, God, they were awful. They were legitimately awful, and they were almost unrunnable. And now they've made, I think, big strides in making them actually feel moderately useful. But let me know what you guys think of Gabiru down in the comments below. That's it for me. Take it easy, and I will see you all later.